Oh, when he tried to do the shoot at the water park, and he was trying to dance, that wasn't happening.
I remember when I started my freshman year, and it was like I barely even knew him, and I got in trouble for the first day, I think. And he was just mad chill about it. So when I got to know him, he started to like tell me like who he is and everything, and I got to like understand him. So I thought like that was the best memory out of him.
Whew. There's a lot. Maybe when I kept calling him Ced, and he's like, "Don't call me Ced, call me Mr. Cedric." And I kept saying Ced, and then he was like, "Call me Mr. Cedric." And then when I was gonna call him Mr. Cedric, I called him Ced again. So he thought I was about to say Mr. Cedric. But he taught me how to have respect for people. And that's one good memory.
One of my favorite memories of Mr. Cedric when I was a young student going to the Met was always seeing Mr. Cedric walk around on his Bluetooth. You never knew if he was talking to you, if he was talking on the phone, so me and my friends would always make jokes about that.
He used to be like, "Yari, let's go downstairs and talk." And I used to always be like, "I'm in trouble again, here we go." And we'd have like a group sit-down conversation and just talk about like what's wrong or what's going on in my life, and try to like fix like personal problems here at school.
I guess when he would joke around, he jokes around with me a lot. Like he'll like randomly pop up and then just say, "Oh, how are you?" But like he'll also like crack jokes. So yeah.
I just used to love when he used to always say hi to me and outside. I was like, "Hey, Mr. Ced," he'd be like, "Hey, Dina," and then he starts talking to me for hours.
One of my favorite memories of Mr. Cedric would be freshman year, because I was always late coming back for lunch, or I'd be walking around the Met doing something I wasn't supposed to, and he'd always catch me walking around. He always was like, "Jordan, make sure you get back to class or whatever. Don't make me call my aunt Dot, because he knows my family." And anytime I heard that, I always ran back to class because that's one of my aunts I'm scared of. So anytime he said that, I would run back to class.
I used to be out like getting lunch late, and he used to be like, "Chelsea, get over here, let's go." It was getting me out of trouble, and I appreciate everything that he does for me.
One time that really stood out to me was I was having a bit of trouble with one of my classmates, and it was something that I really couldn't have controlled, which is usually something that really gets to me. But instead of letting me just go off in a bad mood or like just let it ruin my day, he took me aside and he actually like walked me through how I was feeling and asked me and challenged me to do better. And I think that moment really stuck with me, because all the time now I think back to like not only moments where I could do better, but now I try to do better because he offered me the chance to try.
He affected my life more outside the community, because like whenever I needed something, he was like another male figure that I could go to besides my father and like uncles and stuff. Like, I don't know, Mr. Ced, he's like a grandpa, you know? Like I said, he always made sure I had a job, took care of all the kids at the rec.
Outside the Met, I started to learn like how to respond to people and adults, because I really didn't know that back then. So learning from him how to act like an adult, I felt like it made a huge like impression on me and like how to respond to people.
He definitely changed me as a person. Like, I think like before, like I used to act before I do things, and now like he taught me how to like think before you do. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Cedric helped teach me to become a man, along with a lot of other people at the Met. One thing that always meant a lot to me about Mr. Cedric was when my best friend passed away in 9th grade, Mr. Cedric was on the scene to console me, and he was also back here at campus. Whatever I needed, I always knew Mr. Cedric was a resource.
I'd say that he definitely gave me more patience in life. Like when I came, he used to think that I'll like punch a hole through the wall because of like how bad my anger was. So I'd say that he definitely like influenced like how I became like into a better person and grew up.
I guess when there was like problems going on, he was like there for like support, and not only that, but like I see like the way he is like towards people and stuff, and it just makes me want to be a better person. So.
He kind of like let me know that when I wanted to leave the school, that it was like a good school. Just stay there. It might not help you right now, but later on when you're in college, you know that it will help you. So that's probably why. That's one way he helped. And then outside of the school, with the rec, and then Corey Brownlee walking around the courts, and then people like just making sure that it was safe and all that for people to go and watch.
Well, he encouraged me to join track, even though it didn't last long, but he still encouraged me to join the team and to try to stay on the team. So yeah.
Taking the Met more serious, like making sure like I'm not running around and like walking around the track when I'm not supposed to, coming back from late, going to Wendy's and stuff like that. He always kept me in check and made sure that I was doing what I was supposed to do.
Most people don't know this, but Mr. Cedric is a very community guy. Like, he gets a lot of people out of trouble, a lot of kids, always worrying about somebody. He's always there for somebody.
I think his presence really affects like the Met. I feel like not only as like his position, you'd think that he'd really have to be really stern and really strict, and although he is when he needs to be, he also has this sort of energy and this sort of passion for what he does that's really infectious, and it really brings a certain energy to the school, and it makes everyone kind of feel like this is home, and I think that's something that will always be a part of the Met.
Time management. Because when I worked for him, like before the summer, like after school, I always come late. And he always gives me like a long speech, like an hour speech, the same speech all the time, about how if my dad was late to work, then what would happen to my family and all this. At the time, it seems like, dang, this is a drag, but it pays off, you know, when you really think about it.
Mr. Cedric taught me how to have patience and to problem solve on my own. So like, not solve problems within like a group with him, but like just to take the time like by myself and calm down and then think about it and then react.
Keep pushing on no matter how hard the situation could be, because it's just gonna like bring it back to like the whole problem.
On his Bluetooth, you never knew if he was talking to you, if he was talking on the phone, so me and my friends would always make jokes about that.
And how has he affected your life at the Met or outside in the community?
Mr. Cedric helped teach me to become a man along with a lot of other people at the Met. One thing that always meant a lot to me about Mr. Cedric was when my best friend passed away in 9th grade, Mr. Cedric was...
How to be patient with people. That'll be one.
He taught me to just be myself, like, cause he said that I'm a good kid, but sometimes I just get caught up in the wrong crowd.
He taught me how to say hi every day, because I would just walk by and then he'll be like, oh, you didn't say hi, and I would just be like, oh, sorry, hi.
I feel like something he taught me was like responsibility, because there was a couple times where I've gotten in trouble and I was kind of quick to point the finger at somebody else, and he kind of talked to me about it. He was like, it's not always like other people's fault. Sometimes you gotta take accountability for something you might have done, because I could have done something that could have caused someone else to do something and then, you know, make a bigger problem. So that's something he definitely taught me.
Always to put a smile on your face and keep going, no matter what.
The way I could sum up what he's taught me was like taking it one step at a time. Not worrying about how I might feel right now, but worrying about how I'd feel later, or how the people around me would feel, and how to represent myself best. I think just that take it one step at a time mentality, I think I learned that from him.
He could talk for a long time, but it's interesting. And I don't know, he cares like about the community, about the kids. I don't know, to be older in age, he's fit. He's very fit. He be on the court. It's crazy.
He's like always like energetic, he's happy, he's always like open-minded, he's always like talkative, and he could like respond to you for a question, or like he'll ask you something of like, what do you think it's better? So I feel like that's his best traits out of them all.
He's a funny dude, very friendly. He's somewhat chill, like, he's a cool dude.
always knew Mr. Cedric was a resource.
Oh, okay. What is something that Mr. Cedric taught you?
Mr. Cedric taught me to be more smooth.
He's loving, he's friendly. You could easily say hi to him and like he won't make you feel uncomfortable in any way. Like he's like a family guy. Like anybody could go to him and he'll understand where you came from, like even if he has like no knowledge of your background.
He makes sure that every kid knows their potential and that every kid knows their worth.
His personality, because I feel like because of his personality, a lot of people like him. And I don't think if Mr. Cedric can go anywhere without someone knowing him. Like I'm pretty sure he knows like everybody in Providence, even like kids-wise. He knows a lot of kids, a lot of adults. He knows a lot of my family, surprisingly. Like on some weird, like I guess they grew up together or something. But definitely, I would say his personality.
Definitely communication. He knows how to communicate well with a lot of people. He knows everybody. Every time somebody comes by, everybody, Mr. Cedric, this, and that. I'm like, damn, how you know everybody? He's very a community person.
I think he's like passionate in a real sense, because I feel like every time he talks to someone or every time he puts himself in like a conversation, I feel like he's not doing it because he wants information or because he wants to know what's happening, but because he cares. And I think that's a trait that's really strong with anybody, especially someone like him. I also really liked his sort of, well, I already mentioned it, but his energy. It's something that's really infectious and helps you really like put things in perspective.
I appreciate him for everything he did, everything he does, you know. And as he moves on, you know, we'll always appreciate the things he did for us.
The Met's gonna be a little weird without him, but I wish him the best.
Even though that you're leaving, it doesn't matter. You still have a special part of the school and you made a difference for us.
He definitely changed me as a person, and I thank him for that. Because like, there's actions where I could have taken it out of proportion, but I didn't. And I thought before I did.
So hey, you're retiring, so you know, live your best life. You better jet ski, do four-wheeling, like live bougie out there, cause you know, you're a bougie man.
He was a big help for me in 10th grade. Now it's going through some things, he was there, so I'm thankful for that.
He's forever gonna be a memory in my mind.
Is that I appreciate him and everything he's done for me. He's one of the reasons why I'm at the Met today. He's one of the reasons I'm the man I am today with all the help from the staff at the Met, and I appreciate him.
Well, first off, thank you. Thank you for your work, your passion, your energy. It really made me feel comfortable here when I was first starting off, and continues to make me feel empowered here at the Met. And good luck on all your future endeavors. And I know you'll do great, but I hope you do.
Invest in Voodoo Tech, please. Do that.
Don't miss me too much, Mr. Said.
Don't give up on yourself and keep being yourself, no matter where you go.
Have fun, man. Live your life. You know, you went through the struggle with these kids in the Met. You had fun with them. You taught them different ways and how to act in different scenarios. And yeah.
Age is a number. You're a kid at heart. Just have fun now.
Shoot, just get money. Get money. And then be chilling, to be honest.
Have fun and, I don't know, never forget about the kids that you changed.
Is now Mr. Cedric's getting kind of old, so he's gonna have to relax, you know, live the rest of his life the best he can.
I want you to keep pushing, keep going, and keep that smile on that face. And good luck with your new beginnings in California.
I guess I could say, maybe remember your influence. I think that sometimes as leaders, it's sometimes kind of hard to think, oh yeah, like do people actually care what I have to say? Do people actually feel like I'm impacting them? And I want you to know that you are. You definitely impact the people you work with, and it definitely matters to them. And as you retire, remember that all those times where you stepped out of your way, all those times where you really tried to make someone feel like they mattered, they felt it. So thank you.
100. Finally, after 4 years, I did 100 push-ups for that one time I swore in front of Mr. Cedric.